What's up, Barebow Project? This is episode number 53 with John and Grayson, and we're answering your Barebow questions. Remember, pay the fee. The fee is for you to share the show. If you like the information, if the information was useful, if you thought something was funny, just you sharing the show helps spread Barebow, helps, grow Barebow. Just in totality. So that's your fee. I don't smother you with advertisements in the beginning. Instead, we ask you pay your fee because the show is free and share the show. All right, enjoy.
I think then anybody I can put a name to promote our sport.
The archer who owns all the world records, John Demmer III.
The more difficult a thing is, the more important the mental game becomes.
I didn't eat any supper yet either. How about you guys? Did you guys eat yet?
I didn't eat
I got some crunch berries.
Oh, yeah.
Grayson Parlow.
It's like me taking 3 or 4 years off your eyes just because I weakened that prescription in the shooting eye.
And don't put everything into my shot that I should. That I get a lot of drop on those heavy arrows. It's dropping all the way down. He said, well, you might want to think about going to a lighter arrow and string walking. And then that's what got that started.
Last night, we were talking about the wind that came through. We had five phone calls in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
But we literally were just going from call to call to call to call to call. And then obviously we had that big fire on Saturday. You saw that. That was crazy.
Yeah. That looked like a banger.
Dude, it was crazy. Actually, I could probably, what can I do? I can share this video. I'll share a picture so people can see it because they don't get to see that stuff. They don't get to see. Oh, Bluetooth isn't on. That's why. Yeah, it was. I mean, that building is 50 yards wide, 100 yards long. So that whole back side of the building burned completely. And it had rolls of it had big aluminum rolls that had plastic filament in between it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
so that stuff caught fire. I don't know if this is going. There it goes. The plastic was just burning around it, and it was just crazy. Here, I'm gonna share this video quick for the people who are watching, just so you can get a scotch of what actually happened. Can you see that, dude?
Yeah, I can see it. Were you the first?
Right there. What'd you say, Grayson?
Were you the first due engine?
Correct. I actually have a picture of us. I'll share that with you quick. It's actually these pictures, the resident who lives right across the street snapped this photo of our engine, right as we pulled in, just to give you an idea what we saw. Hold on a second. Check this out. That's what we pulled into.
Wow.
Yeah, that's our engine right there, and that's me.
Second alarm immediately, something like that.
Yeah, we went third alarm right away, and a bunch of special requests and stuff. So, but yeah, that's what we pulled into, and then believe it or not, this part right here. So it actually looks like that part's burning. It looks like, but if I draw a line here, you can, this part right here, we saved.
Yeah.
That's the roof line right there. That's the roof line there, and there.
Saved it.
Yeah, we saved that. So, I mean, you got to look at that. You see that much fire, though, you have to think that, that thing had a major head start. I mean, obviously, we're defensive right away. So, but yeah, I mean, between that 12 hours and then the stupid winds that came through last night, it's crazy. I don't know. It's like it goes where we have nothing for a couple weeks, and then it goes absolutely crazy in a week's time. So,
yeah.
Well, anyway, enough of all that nonsense. So, how'd your league go tonight?
It was okay. Some of the shots just were not good. I tried to shoot in. This may sound like an excuse, but whatever. I shot in my Hoka running shoes. They have a lot of cushion. I
Oh,
felt
yeah.
like I was just rocking back and forth the whole
Yeah.
night, and it was really weird. My float was like all over the place, and that normally doesn't happen. So I'm gonna blame it on the shoes. I will not be wearing those again.
No, I thoroughly believe in wearing a minimalist shoe, like
Yeah.
like a Chuck Taylor, like a Converse, or a minimalist, like you buy them for like the CrossFit weightlifting stuff, but they're like, something like that. There's no heat, there's no raised heel. It's,
Yeah.
or something like that for sure.
Something flat and hard, really, because I don't know. Frederick Lundmark in Sweden, he says he shoots in Hokas all the time and he likes them. But for me, I just felt like I was just rocking back and forth on that foam. So I don't know. I'm not going to shoot again.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's going to be different for everyone. I mean, I would think that if he shoots in them all the time, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
We got a series of questions here. For those of you who are listening, this is going to be episode 53. This is some bourbon and Barebow discussion with Grayson, except I'm the only one drinking the bourbon because he's a loser. No, no, you're not. You're a winner, literally the national champion. But this is your morning and this is my night, so it is what it is.
I'll switch to bourbon around midnight.
So, in other words, noon.
Well, it's my one day off. I work like 8 in a row, so gonna enjoy tonight. Have a glass of bourbon, make some dinner here soon, and heading to Ohio in the morning. I'm hoping to shoot with Calvin Smock and Bill Hunter up there.
Oh, nice.
Maybe Thursday. I don't know. And anyone in Ohio, if you're near like Youngstown, in between Youngstown and Cleveland, maybe if you want to shoot Saturday, send me a message. I'm looking for a place to shoot. So I like Ohio Premier Archery. It's in Middlefield. I don't know if that's close to anybody, but it's a place. So anybody wants to shoot, let me know.
Nice. Good stuff. Never been there. I take it you're going with a significant other. That's where you're headed?
Yeah, we're finishing up wedding planning and all that. So we have half a dozen appointments we have to hit.
Is that where the wedding is in Ohio?
Yeah.
Nice. Good deal.
You coming?
Huh? Not invited. Not invited. No, I am not coming to Ohio for a wedding. I don't go to Ohio on purpose for much of anything. So anyway, so we'll get started here and go through some of these questions.
Tell John to join in.
John, why don't you join in? Oh, he's probably sitting there like with the phone by his ear with it turned down all the way.
Yeah.
Taking care of people. All right, so we're going to go through some questions here. For those of you who, honestly, since day one, this same question has been pinned in the Facebook group for like ever, and it's like one of those, if you had a Barebow question, what is it or what isn't? There's, I don't know, there's like 200 and some comments. The questions I pulled from, not gonna lie, we just scrolled through the whole multiple hundreds of questions there and then found a screenshot of like 4 that were like really good.
They're 2 years old though.
They are 2 years old though, but they're good questions, which is why we picked them. So we're just going to kind of run with it, and it is what it is, So a question, first one, and Grayson, these are all for you. Really, I'll chime in a little bit, but these are for you. So Martin Dragon had a question, and he wanted to know how to shoot a lot and not overtrain or get injured via number of arrows, SPTs, rest days, maybe not combined with physical training, recovery, and stuff like that. I know, you probably have to juggle that a little bit because you take periods of time off, or I should say have in the past. So how do you juggle that when you come back? Like what's your process of juggling getting back into or trying to get to shooting shape?
Well, even if I'm not shooting, I'm always in the gym doing a little something. So I'm, somewhat in physical shape at all times. And I don't shoot very heavy. I don't shoot 45 pounds or anything like that. So it's not difficult for me to come back and, shoot a 36-pound setup. I just can't shoot it for very long in the beginning. So when I come back, I'll start slow, 30 arrows max, and not scoring the first time. And just go from there, just build it up slowly. I'm still not quite back to like what I would consider full strength. I'm still a little shaky and I get a little fatigued. I'm pretty close. It's not really bothering me, but the feel is not exactly how I want it yet. As far as like not getting injured, just, I don't know, be in good alignment, pull the right way. Don't overdo it. You listen to your body. If you feel sore, then stop.
There's a lot of people who will say pull the right way means you have to pull how they pull. There's a lot of different methodologies out there to say pull the right way. You know what I mean?
To be honest, I don't even know if I pull the right way. I know I pull in a way that doesn't hurt me, and when I'm at full strength, I can shoot 200 or 300 arrows a day, back to back to back to back. Like Lancaster, normally I'll probably shoot 60 to 120 arrows a day every day before I go up, the first couple days before. And then normally that Thursday, I'll go in there and shoot like 250 arrows, just messing around on the practice range with everyone. And then throughout the tournament and practice, that weekend, I'll probably shoot 600 arrows. It's a lot. And I don't feel super tired during the tournament or anything. Yeah, I don't shoot heavy weight, so maybe that has something to do with it. And I'm relatively strong and big, so maybe that has something to do with it too.
Yeah, it probably does. I mean, you're definitely have a physical fitness oriented approach to life, and that's got to carry over to your ability to, I guess, get adjusted early on, for sure. It's definitely a backwards philosophy to like a training regimen. Not only what like I will teach for someone who is shooting all of the time and is ramping up, like it's called periodization, and it's a huge deal in like the performance sports like CrossFit and Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, stuff like that, where you taper down as you get closer to allow your body to heal. But I would like to think that in your situation, I know John does something very similar. You guys shoot so much to prepare that you don't really get you're already conditioned. Maybe not perfectly, but if you're used to shooting 100 arrows a day or whatever, having to prepare and shoot a couple hundred arrows for a tournament, a 2-day tournament is nothing, so
yeah,
that's good.
Problem shooting hundreds of arrows back to back when I'm in shape.
Right.
Now I think if you shoot heavyweight Olympic recurve, it's probably a different ball game, because that's way more of like a true athletic endeavor compared to what shooting 36 pounds, it's not the same as what they do. No. So yeah. Read the question again. Do we answer everything?
I would say so. Just about not overtraining and avoiding getting injured, number of arrows, SBTs, rest days, and how to combine it with physical training. So I guess that's a thing. Are you exercising as much right now while you're shooting and getting ready, or does that get dialed back a little bit during archery season, specifically indoor?
I would say no. I will not lift. No, but I will not lift heavy the day of or the day before a tournament. I'm not going to go out and do like 100 burpees, the morning of a tournament or the evening before I have to go shoot in the morning. So just be smart about it. Like before nationals this year, I worked out before I went, but it was just like a quick 5K and, push-ups, sit-ups, planks, stuff like that. I won't go lift in the gym very heavy before I go shoot, upper body at least.
Right.
Um,
That's a good answer for that, for sure. And I guess recovery, do you give yourself maybe, try to give yourself, you scale back what you're doing, but do you give yourself any kind of recovery in preparation for a tournament? You just kind of go off a feel. You feel like you're ready, you're good, or what?
I guess it depends. I would say most of my career, I've just been kind of winging it because I've always come back to it at different times of the year, and I'm always getting into shape at different times.
Mhm.
So if I need the volume going into the tournament, I'll just shoot until I feel like my shot is where it needs to be. If I'm already kind of in shape, then I won't have to shoot as much going into it. And yeah, I will take a little bit more rest right before. But if I need the work, then I'm going to work.
Right. All right.
I feel like I'm a great person to answer these questions because my shooting schedule is so irregular, or has been in the past.
Yeah. Yes and no.
Hopefully going forward, get more dialed in. Yeah, I've got the full range in the basement now, so hopefully I can stick with it. And I've got plenty of room outside to shoot. So I'm hoping to stay in shape pretty much year round now.
Good. We look forward to seeing you and shooting outdoors with you. Target Nationals is an absolute blast. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that this year for sure. I shot 50 meters a couple days ago, I guess, playing with the Hoyt Epic, and I'm definitely missing 50 meters right now. Like it's all
Yeah.
it's
I like 50.
game.
I shot it maybe 4 tournaments 2 years ago. Maybe I can't remember, 2 or 3, but yeah, I mean, I shot it pretty well. It was fun, and I really like 50 meters when the weather's good. I shot in some bad weather a couple times, but it was definitely a learning experience.
Yeah.
You need to
first
bad
time
weather.
you shot 50 meters?
Do I?
Is that the first time you shot official 50 meters in a tournament?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the first time I started off strong, and then rain hit, and I wasn't using my binos or anything. I just shot my 6 shots, and I had a group down in like the 3 ring. It was like this. I thought they were all good shots, but I wasn't aware that the rain would have that much of an effect on the arrows. It was raining so hard that they ended up calling the tournament about halfway through.
Wow.
And the next one, the next 3, or the last 3, I shot 2 660 somethings and then a 655 or something like that. But they were all pretty good. I had fun with it, and I'm looking forward to getting back into it.
Yeah, I would say so. You're shooting 650s, 660s in tournaments, and that's some solid 50 meter. The secondhand Nancy is here, everyone. Stand by. We'll wait for John to log in. Secondhand Nancy. We'll wait for John to log in. Gotta mute that background. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had to play it to see if you were talking smack before I logged in.
Always. You logged in at a good time because we're going on to question number 2. So you ready to Twisted Tea? Nope.
No,
Coca-Cola.
I'm keeping it clean. I have the White Claws in the fridge.
Then this one's a good question. Because I don't know if it's actually a topic we've ever really discussed. Exercises for building mental stamina. So maybe things that you guys do that help you just, probably just aim better, stuff like that. You've been doing it for so long. Or are there things maybe you did early on that you don't maybe you don't need now, but mental stamina, exercises for building mental stamina, anything in regards to that you guys would like to share?
You go ahead, John.
Mental stamina. Pretty much the only thing I do, they could probably classify that as draw holds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's physical, but it's also mental. Mental of not ingraining that in the back of your head that you don't shoot every time the arrow hits the gold or whatever your end goal is for aiming. And it's pretty much the only mental training I do. And then sometimes I'll try to mind screw myself saying, I gotta get, I gotta shoot it next to Ty Grayson or something on this arrow or I suck.
I do.
It's not something most people will suggest to do, but I'll do it once in a while.
Yeah, I'll do it. I mean, put the pressure on myself, I have to end here or I suck or, I'm going to lose everything. It doesn't really mean anything, but, it kind of messes with your mind a little bit.
No, that's good. Do you think that the whole mental stamina thing, Grayson, I don't think you shot archery abroad. You shot one, but not frequently. Do you guys think that archery abroad stuff, shooting the live feed stuff has some kind of build up, some kind of help with the mental stamina stuff?
I mean, are you talking mental stamina like discipline, or are you talking about just being able to stay engaged long periods of time? Like,
I don't know. It probably could qualify as both. I mean, it just says mental stamina. I'd like to think that like putting yourself in those, we'll call them pressure situations for lack of a better descriptive term, but that's got to build some kind of mental stamina, wouldn't you think? And then exercises, things maybe that build your mental approach, building your confidence, your mental confidence, I don't know if you call it mental game, I guess you could. Like Grayson, for example, you early on shoot close range, like a 3-spot, correct?
No, I just shoot maybe 2, 3, 4 yards away from the target, and I'll aim it like an old arrow hole. And the arrow will impact high. I'll use my 20-yard crawl, 18-meter crawl, and I'll aim at the arrow hole, and the arrow just impacts high. And I just kind of run my shot. It doesn't give you like a scoring result, like you can't determine whether your shot was good based on the score. So the only thing you have to go off of is how you executed the shot. And that does a good job for me, just kind of ingraining exactly how I want my shot to flow, the timing and everything like that. Gives me a good rhythm. Just kind of ingrains the way I want the shot to work every time without worrying about the score, but still aiming. I think it's important to always aim, because that's like the X factor in Barebow. That's what most people can't do, is aim on the spot. So I always aim when I practice.
That's good. I think that's similar to that 30X drill. Like, the idea of aiming to hit the X 30 times in a row, the same mental discipline it takes to, to let that aim happen and finish the shot, stuff like that. It's kind of the same principle anyways. John, is anything else besides the draw holds that you do besides, mentally putting yourself in situations where you feel a little bit of, not pressure, but, sense of importance for this arrow, stuff like that? Do you do anything like that?
Not a whole lot. I mean, a lot of that stuff is just kind of just things leading up and to the shoot or shot or whatever you want to, what you're placing the importance on, would be like just normal basic stuff to help you make sure you're on the right path of like just a good tune, a setup that you're comfortable shooting and that you could trust time and time again.
I'm still working on that right
now. Yeah, we were discussing this a while ago, like just like I go through 2 tunes every indoor season. I'll go through the initial one where I'm starting up, where form's a little sloppy and stuff, and then once everything starts cleaning up, I gotta switch up tune again. And I'm on my second tune now, so I'm pretty good leading into the final 8 stuff. And that's so. I mean, that's pretty much all I do for mental stamina. I mean, it's just shot to shot. I mean, you gotta engage and disengage yourself every time. I don't know.
That's a good point though, talking about the tune and I guess to explain to people, because I think that's going to be hard for some people to understand that, how Once well, your buncher bow's tuned, it's tuned. And that's sometimes the approach, or maybe people don't ever get to that. We'll call it a second tune. They don't even get to that point. Maybe they don't have quite the consistency yet or something like that. So, just I know we've talked about it. It's hard for us to look at, wow, you have a better tune that will make you shoot better than what you shot at Lancaster. But your shot process becomes smoother and more repeatable, and you make less mistakes. So, you see changes then, or a pattern that your tune changes in what way, what things are changing for you, to explain that.
Just a simple fact that like the fingers are working better. They're cleaner, follow throughs cleaner, everything gets a lot cleaner. The more you shoot, it's like you take any kind of break when you first come back, everything is a little catchy. So everything's gonna have different force on the arrow, and poundage. You might start off super low poundage because that's all you're comfortable, holding at that point in time. And then the more you shoot and the more you start getting back in the groove, you might want to bump up poundage a little bit because now it's too easy and you need to feel a little bit more resistance, so you're always pulling pretty good.
All right, that's good. I mean, that's a great way to talk about that specific topic.
What John said about engaging and disengaging is very important because tournaments are long. I mean, nationals, I was not used to that. I haven't shooting one in 2 years. So you really have to focus on each shot. And then, when your end is over, talk to people, disengage, have a good time. But when it's time to go back up to the line, you really have to focus on every shot. So that's a good point. You have to engage on every shot. You have to make yourself do it. Couple bad shots here and there, I mean, it really can ruin a round. Ask John how he knows.
I almost changed my name coming into it, as in X90.
Oh, that's funny. All right, that's good. Thanks, Grayson, for that. That's like outstanding information. So this one's more of a form related question. You guys good to go on to the next question? All right. So that last one was from Daniel Tibbles. Thank you for the Danielle Tibbles. I'm sorry. From Calvin Glastonbury. Tips for getting a consistent head position and anchor. So obviously we're talking barebow. We're not talking Olympic. Anything that you guys specifically do or have done that have helped you gain that consistency in head position and anchor?
Nose button.
Just funny.
Other than the nose button, I mean, anchor, I like to use, tip of my index finger on a hard point on the upper part of your jaw. The lower part moves. So I like the canine up here. It's always worked well for me. And yeah, at this point, I've done it so many thousands of times. It's just repeatable.
String blur.
Do I?
String blur.
String blur, yeah. Some people don't use it, and those people are just idiots.
No, I use it.
Whatever. Do whatever you got to do. Head position for me is a big one. I struggle with it. I mean, struggle. I use that term loosely, but yeah, it that will affect me. So when I do if you watch me shoot, I kind of do like a pre-draw or like out here. So what I do is I try to, I don't know how to describe it, like my eye right here, I'll try to put like on my forearm, and I'll put my ear like in the crook of my elbow. Does that make sense? I don't know if you've ever seen me do it, but I mean, you can still move your whole, your arm and everything, but the more points I have that I put in the same place every time, maybe it makes me more consistent. And that's just one thing I tried to get the head tilt angle down, like side to side. I mean, it is difficult to get it precise every time.
Yeah, I agree. John, how about yourself?
It was easier, I would say, for me a few years ago when pre 50 meter stuff because I had a little bit higher anchor. And so I was basically getting my middle finger up here. And by doing that, I could actually get the string actually on the edge of my eyebrow. And so I would use the string on the edge of my eyebrow. I would still see the string blur, and this anchor. So that was 3 points that I could get my head in the same position every time. And you would definitely notice if you put the string here one shot and here one shot, the different impact on the target. Now I'm down here, so it's a little bit harder. I got to be more cognizant of head position now. I tend to do tipping too much or not enough, and that will kind of raise and lower my impact point a little bit. Lately, I've been pretty good on it because my highs and lows have been really, really good. But I could easily put one into the 8-ring high or low and have a great shot, and that's because you tip your head down a little bit. You tip your head down there, and you're looking at the point of your arrow. If you tip your head down, it actually moves your point up. So then you actually bring it back down, and then you hit low.
That's 100% true. Head tilt forward and back is a huge thing for up and down. A lot of times if I stay in the shot too long, I'll pull. My head will kind of come back a little bit. Take much to, put one 8-9 line or all the way into the 8. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
That's going to multiply at 50 meters then too, dramatically.
100%. Yeah.
That's a good point too that you made. So, and people should pay attention to that. The lower jaw, that idea like of a lower eye tooth or down on the chin, and those people that just like advocate for lower anchors, you're giving up some consistency or potential consistency in a couple of ways. One, lower anchor, you're going to see a bigger crawl typically, especially for like 18 meters. And you're giving up that movable part of your jaw, and there's people that advocate for it, but go ahead.
Potential, because you can shoot it well if you're very on top of what you're doing and doing everything the same each time. I mean, some people do make it work, so it's not that you can't do it.
Yeah,
it's just there might be a better way.
Yeah, you just got to be very cognizant that you're shutting your mouth the same every time. I mean, some especially comes out to the 50-meter game. There's some people shooting lighter poundage that they can't anchor on the upper part,
right?
Or they're really short drawed, and that's just the way they are. They're built. Yeah, you just got to be very, you just got to pay attention to how your mouth is shut every time, because it's easy to move it side to side a little bit.
And in regards to that, John, 50 meters, are you still able to get away with that upper anchor, that eye tooth? 50 meters, or you come a little bit lower?
So yeah, for indoors, I like to come back above my K9. When I'm down here, I get a little bit sloppier for indoors, whatever reason. But outdoors, if I could get away with it up here, I'm gonna shoot it up there because it's more consistent anchor for me. But if I have to, I'll drop it to right underneath. Like I'll make sure my fingernail's clean. It's clean enough. But I'll put my tooth like right here, right underneath my K9 tooth. So I'll just bury it right into that corner part.
So a deep hook
I
is
get
going to
50
have an
easy.
effect on that too.
Yeah, it's kind of like I where I start screwing up for 50 meters and indoors for whatever reason. Like I'll get lazy and I'll put like my tooth hanging here, and I'll put my finger here one time. I'll put it over here one time, in, out, and side to side, and it's just a little bit harder for me. But if I can get away with it more for me on the outside of the tooth, and I could bury it into like a corner somewhere, perfect. But if I have to hang it inside, it's a little bit more inconsistent. I just got to be way more aware of where it's actually at. So
yeah. No, that's good.
It makes you realize you have to do so many things perfect to shoot a 10. So whenever you shoot a 10, you did it right.
Yeah, it really isn't much. It's not even like a millimeter on our business end for it to be back into the 9 or 8 ring downrange.
Yeah. No, that's really, really good information. I don't think that's a topic that or a detail that has ever come up in our conversations. What I was saying though, like if you're somebody, a lot of people automatically will reference Olympic recurve or Olympic recurve teachings as far as like where to set the hook on the fingers and stuff like that. You're seeing people that set the string out in front of that first index or even a little bit further. And when you do that, I've seen mostly kids that I've worked with that get too far out in that hook. And first of all, those nerve endings are out there, and it makes that's connected directly to your subconscious mind. So I mean, it's just one of those things. The deeper back you get it, it's a little bit easier to control. At least I have found. But also, it's bringing that string a little bit further out on your anchor. If you're anchoring at your eye tooth and you take that thing and you have a shallow hook, you see people that like really scrape the crap out of their lips and stuff like that, bottom lips. I've seen where a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times they end up having a shallow hook, but they're still trying to get that anchor, and that string's just sliding right off the fingers and then sliding right along their face. They don't realize. They're like, oh, I'm hitting my face, I'm hitting my lip, stuff like that. And then they go to a deeper hook, still can keep that same anchor, that high anchor or whatever they choose, but it'll get rid of that slapping the side of their face. Or they're tilting their head in like this, and that's coming in like everybody has their own way. I mean, everybody's facial features are different and all that stuff. So it's not necessarily going to be the same. It's definitely not a cookie cutter sport. You can't just teach it one way and say this is the way to do it. But you two happen to be the most consistent that I personally know. So I definitely take every word that you say with a level of importance. So hope everybody else does as well, at least the archery related topics. All right, so go ahead.
Head position. So if you watch me shoot, I do that pre-draw thing, and I try to set my head angle and everything. When I draw all the way back, I don't try to like move my head into the string at all. I set it here, and then I try not to move it. So and that's not the only way to do it. John, I've seen him, he'll kind of like come down into it a little bit. He does it the same every time. But for me, it's easy if I kind of, use my arm as a reference, set the head, looking at the target, and don't move it, or move it very minimally. So just something to think about.
So back to the string blur thing, that and it reminds me from what you just said, Grayson. In years past, in the very beginning, I didn't use it at all. Still shot decent scores in the first couple of years. Last summer, I really concentrated on it. Like I played around with it before that, but last summer I really, really concentrated on it, and it made a world of difference on my left and rights, especially at 50 meters. I think maybe 18 meters you can get away with it. What's that?
I said, imagine that.
I know, should have listened, right? I mean, I did listen. I just had a hard time doing it because of the where I was anchoring. And then, but the one thing that I noticed, that the lower I have to crawl, the further out my string goes. And it's really hard for me to pick up or have any kind of reference. So I like to try to keep my crawl up higher. The higher my crawl is, that string's a little bit closer because of the angle of it. It brings it in closer to my plunger. 50 meters, that far below the knock, maybe a half inch, roughly half inch, 3/4 of an inch below the knock. It allows me to get that string blur. And then I don't have to move my head as much either. Or I try not to move my head at all, so that I have a little bit more of a string blur. Like if I don't have to move my head and I'm on a higher crawl, hold on. My dog came in. If I have my crawls up a little bit higher, I don't have to move my head as much. When I come into anchor, I actually can see it in reference to like the middle of the plunger roughly for me. But indoor, because I have a little bit more of a crawl, it takes it and sends it way out to the right. And it's just the dynamic of the way that I shoot. It's probably a disadvantage, to be honest with you, compared to like what you guys do. Where is your string blur in reference to your anchor, by the way, for indoor?
Normally I run it right along the arrow shaft. This year I've had to move it to the right a little bit. I don't know why, but it's right on the riser, like the right side of the riser, depending on where I'm shooting. So in my basement, I think I have pretty good lighting down there. I have these nice LED strips, so the lighting is good, but I have to run it to just the outside of the riser. At nationals or at my league, I run it right in the middle of the risers. So
That's impressive. John, where's yours at?
Outside edge of the riser.
All right, good enough. I think that covers head position and anchor pretty well. Last question. I would like to know how to reduce competition excitement. What is your approach to this problem? I don't know. You guys still get some excitement out of competition, but just not nearly as much. I think there's some callous to it, which is why you don't, but maybe you can talk to, if you can remember, like in the beginning, or, you know, what is there things that you do repeatedly to help you deal with the excitement of competing, the excitement of a tournament, or anything like that?
Now maybe there is a little bit of callous, but yeah, I still get amped up for them. Not nearly like it was in the beginning. I remember the first tournament I ever went to. I met John there actually. I was sitting in the car and I was so nervous. I was about to turn around and go home. Like I was not going to walk in the building, but it turned out to be probably the best thing I ever did for my shooting. Because I went in and met John, and you know, the rest is kind of history. But yeah, early on, it was definitely amped up, and it just took a while to get used to it. It took failure. It took, you know, accepting failure and moving forward with a plan to make myself better, to kind of work through that initial anxiety. I think everybody's anxious to do well at a tournament, but you can't place too much emphasis or maybe hope on doing well all the time. For me, I have to place the emphasis on, okay, I'm going to go in here and execute my shot. I don't care where the arrow lands. I mean, I really do care where it lands, but when I'm in the shot, I have to not care. I have to focus on executing the shot. So it's tough. I mean, there's no easy way to do it, or, you know, everyone would. I don't know how to explain how it works for me, but that's just my experience.
Yeah.
Say you're a normal, like say USA Archery Indoor Nationals. You had two full rounds to shoot. For you shot it 2 separate days. How many ends do you think you shoot nervous now compared to say early on, like 5 years ago?
Early on, every step I took in that building was nervous, you know. So now I don't know. I mean, maybe still every end a little bit, but it's just so muted that I don't even. I mean, I still notice it, but it's nothing like it used to be. Not even close. Because like you get nervous because you worry about failure. Maybe now, I don't care about that. So it's like, okay, you know, if I shoot a 300 today, oh well, I'm still gonna go home and, you know, hang out with my friends and my family, talk to my fiance. Like it's gonna be a good day either way. But before, I was just placing too much emphasis on doing well and worrying about failing. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's kind of the way.
It does. Yeah.
That's it. Not worrying about failing or how you do. It's not going to make you any more important of a person, one way or the other. I think that helps to ease the stress a lot. I would say now I'm nervous about one end. Like I could still feel a little shaky, not terrible. About one end, maybe the last arrow. That's the only time I get super nervous anymore.
I was nervous for sure.
Say that again. You broke up.
I was nervous the last end at nationals this year for sure, because I was like, all right, this thing's pretty much in the bag. Just don't miss, you know. So yeah, I was pretty nervous going into it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna buckle down here, I'm gonna shoot good shots, and I can't remember what I shot. Maybe it had to be a 28 or a 29 because I think I shot like nothing but that last day, nothing but 28s or 29s. Maybe I think I won like 25 and won 27, but everything else was 28s and 29s.
It didn't help that you guys were the group message going on throughout the entire time either. And then this guy sends a picture of his target. I don't remember what the comment was after. It was like, oh, or something like that. I don't remember. And I think both of us probably were like, it's all good though. It's all in good fun. And
I got to work on my mental stamina on that end.
that one end. And it's not
The
that you
lack
got
of-
nervous on that one.
It was so weird. Like it was just, pull up, and it was like, all right, I didn't pay attention too much to the string blur the last couple ends. Or a couple ends prior. And I'm like, let me hunker down there. And I get there, I'm like, okay, good. I get there, I'm like, yeah, let's get that over there a little bit. Gone. I was like, crap. Just veered off of my my routine. But to go back to like the nervousness and stuff, when I first started, I shot IBO Open Worlds one year, and that was the first 3D tournament I've shot other than just local club shoots. And I got paired up the final day, and I spent the first 5 minutes in the bathroom up chucking. So yeah, I was pretty nervous in the beginning, but got a little bit calloused pretty quick.
Yeah, I would say so. But I mean, your experiences helps a lot. And there's probably a level of experience like with that shot, like you shared the picture of from nationals, or like when you shot against Dilly and did a similar thing, and you're like your heads to head, like it happens, like things happen. It is what it is. Shoot the next arrow as best you can. You'll never ever be able to move on and shoot that arrow to its fullest potential if you can't leave go of the ones that you just shot, whether they were really, really good or not so good. Oh, there's an awkward camera moment.
Oopsie.
To everyone out there, like, it doesn't matter how you shoot. I will still be your friend and I will talk to you unless you're a jerk. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it so much. Don't place so much emphasis on doing well. Run your shot in practice, perfect your execution, and just try to execute in a tournament.
Yeah.
The results don't matter. I mean, they do. Don't get me wrong. We all want to win. I want to kick John's ass every time, but that's not realistic. So place the emphasis on the right thing.
Yeah, it's great advice. Yeah, there's not really any questions, just some fun comments, but your brother actually asked it it's a very specific question. So Brett said, at what point during a round do your nerves usually start to bother you? Is it in the beginning? Is it, practice goes well, first couple ends are shitty? What's your feelings there?
Anymore, I don't really get nervous for the first end. I worry about executing my shot during practice, and I just keep it going into the first end. I'll get a little bit of nerves if I start to do like really, really well. Like if I'm on pace to shoot like a 290 or 290 half, something silly, then yeah, I'll be like, all right, this could be good. Don't F it up. Or if I shoot like a 25, I'm like, okay, you effed it up. Now you gotta.
You have to shoot a couple more 30s to make up for it. That's funny. John, how about you? Do you see it feeling nerves? Like, is there a specific point, or is there? I know you said the last arrow. Do you kind of get the same way? Like when you're really, it's not so much in the beginning, but more so like if you're working on like a really good half or a good round, does that when it sets in a little bit?
It's just mostly the first end, and it's not super nervous either. It's just a little bit off of what everything else is.
Like
everything-
going hill on the roller coaster.
Yeah.
And once you're down that first hill, you're good to go.
Yeah. It's not like oh my God, like shaking or anything. It's just like, okay, I lost a little feeling in my legs and a little feeling in my arms. Let's get through this end, shoot for good form, and the next end it's all cleaned up. It's all, you get all your feeling back, your legs, your arms, your fingers, everything is back to like it is in practice.
Oh, that's good. We have one more question that popped up in the chat, and I think we'll kind of go after it. It's kind of a funny one, actually. How do you block out your neighbors on the shooting line? I had a neighbor who talked through each shot. Ryan Osterlis asked that question. I'll tell you this, Ryan, if you're seeing or hearing the people next to you, either you're too tense or you're just listening and paying attention to the wrong things. But do you guys have any advice on maybe how to avoid allowing that stuff to bother you? Is there something that you do or something like that?
Well, first thing I would do is pick a venue that you have lots of space.
Oh, yeah.
Some people cheat and shoot a place that has a lot of open area. I know Ken would really appreciate my comments on that one, or Trev, I mean. But like Lancaster's pretty tight, so like we're really, really tight on our shooting lane. Like if I stood sideways, probably my both shoulders would probably be touching both lines. For something like that, I would, in the practice rounds, pay attention to what each neighbor does and how they shoot the bow. And if they do everything normal and everything is straight and nothing gets in your lane, then pretend like they're not even there because they're not even going to bother you. Like, I mean, you'll pick up that really quick. And once you get that down and you're like, okay, this one shoots normal, this one shoots normal, there's no like crazy bow arm flaring or anything, just shoot, pretend they're not there.
Yeah.
That way, if you do see someone flaring, then you just, you got to do what you got to do and just pace yourself to them and run your normal shot off of that.
Yeah, I've shot many times with Olympic archers with the V bars. You kind of have to time your shot based on them. A lot of the venues I shoot locally here for like USA archery tournaments are really tight. Like John, when we shoot at Ruth's, it's like a madhouse trying to get to and from the. It's tight up there. So you kind of have to figure it out during the practice round, which way everybody's going to move, getting to and from the line. You get up there, you see what your neighbors are doing. Like John said, if they're not coming into your lane, you're good to go. Just immerse yourself in your shot. Don't worry about them. Don't listen to them. I mean, unless it's in between your shot and, you're just talking back and forth. But when you're running your shot, don't worry about them. And if they do come into your lane, try to time off their shot. Now, if they're actually like touching you with their equipment, maybe try to mention something to them. And I've never had to go past that. I've never had to like speak with a judge about it, but that's always an option if you feel like you need to.
This brings up an interesting shoot. One year I was shooting next a gentleman recurve shooter, and I had Ben Rogers on my left, and it was Ben, me, and an Olympic archer. In the first end, I shot like one arrow, and then I waited 2 minutes to shoot my third, fourth, fifth. And then it happened again. I shot one arrow fairly quick, and then I waited till like 2 minutes, and then shot my rest. And Ben looks over at me. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Just watch this." And so he stops. He didn't shoot an arrow, and I shoot my one arrow. I stop and wait, and the guy loads his arrow on his bow, and the top limb goes boop every time. Ben looks over to me. He's like, "You gotta be kidding me." I'm like, "Yeah, he shoots fast enough, and it ain't bothering me any. I got plenty of time." But that was the guy that came over in his lane, and he didn't even know it. And I was like, "Nah, whatever. It's outdoor. I got like 5 minutes to shoot 6 arrows, so it don't matter."
That's funny you said that. I was gonna say the same thing about the Classic this year. I had that happen twice, nice guy, brand new Olympic recurve shooter, but he was loading his bow this way with the clicker, so he was like sliding it in from the behind the clicker and then coming back. and he was tipping it over. Like, so I'm at full draw and the limb was literally like in front of my sight window. He had no idea it was there. Tracy, I was shooting next to Tracy Yost, and she was like, did you see that? I was like, yeah, the arrow's out in the 5 ring that I just shot. Yes, I saw
Was
it.
that a good? That was a normal shot, though.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know why
wasn't a
you're
normal
complaining.
shot. No, unfortunately, it wasn't. And then it happened again, and then I said something to him. I said, "Hey, and he was kind of like caught off. He was like, hey, I'm like, hey, I was like, just so you know, I was like, first time I didn't say anything. I was hoping you'd figure it out. Second time it happened, no big deal, because I wasn't shooting that great anyway. But I said to him, no big deal, but do me a favor, pay attention to your top limb. When you're in a tournament, your space is here, that space, and I was just very, whatever about it. It didn't bother me. It did, and that's my fault. I should have left down, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I left it. Concentration wasn't there. Full draw. Hey, there's a limb. It is what it is. But it's one of those things that it's a learning moment. That's for sure. What'd you say, Grayson?
I said that's not very smart.
No, it was definitely not a good decision. Definitely not a good decision.
He turned around to the guy. He's like, "Do you know who I am?"
No, that definitely did not happen. I'm not that type of guy. But it was still good. It was a good experience, nonetheless. And he ended up, I think the whole second half he was good about it. So, I mean, it happens though.
You
and
shot
a
shot of somebody else's limb in your sight picture.
Yeah, I left go. You can ask Tracy. She saw it happen. I was there aiming, and that thing just came. I didn't see it at first, and then all of a sudden it was there, and then the arrow was gone.
I've done dumb things too. I remember NFA Nationals years ago. I don't know if you remember this, John. Yeah. I back and it felt weird. I was like, man, is my crawl wrong? So I'm at anchor, pull it back, look at it. I'm like, it looks close. Put it back in.
You sound like a 2 or a 3.
Yeah. It was stupid. So we've all been.
How long ago was that?
That was a long time ago.
That was not good.
6 years ago, maybe 5, somewhere around there.
How long have you been shooting Barebow?
That was my first year.
Okay.
First one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
You shot in the Barebow class, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been exactly last. So I think I shot it like a 70 for that day. I mean, it wasn't very good. So yeah, don't do that. If it feels wrong,
let it down. Good stuff. Well, that's it, gentlemen. We kind of covered everything.
The people that come in your lane at tournaments, I would say for the most part, they don't know they're doing it. Yeah. So just be kind to them and let them know. Just help educate them. Help them learn what they're doing so they don't do it at this tournament and ones down the road. And just be kind and explain like, hey, you were kind of in my lane. This is the way it's supposed to work. It's not a big deal. Not worried about it. Just, try to stay in your space.
Yeah, absolutely. Try to help them and educate them. Don't be a jerk about it. That's it. There's no more questions, no more comments. Just
how many people you got watching?
What's that?
How many people you got watching?
26 right now. We were above that at one point.
26.
7. Yeah, somewhere. I think we're in the high 20s of max so far.
You got to start posting live in a better group. Get some more viewers.
Maybe we should do that. I wonder if I forget it. I'm not going to say it out loud.
Say it.
That's myself.
Who it's Ed, what's their alter egos? Ed and what's the other one? Zach, yeah, Ed and Zach.
We should do a live with them one time. That'd be fun.
We could.
I haven't talked to Zernzak in forever.
Well, is he going to NFA? I don't think he is. I haven't heard anything about it.
No.
If he listens to this, Matt, I got one of the push packs. I got 2 of them, one for me and one for my brother. Those things are pretty nice. I'm probably going to use it for, early season hunting and messing around with my hunting bow, but they're pretty nice.
Alpha pack. The alpha pack.
Yeah. Push pack.
Pretty nice.
Whatever it is. It's nice.
My son confiscated mine, and then I got a new one. So thanks for that, Matt. You guys go check out the while we're on the topic, check out the Push Archery and check out their quivers. They're pretty awesome. While you're there, check out the JD3 Barebow class too. Check that out. The man, the myth, the legend gets to teach you Barebow. No way. Bubba Bateman. That's got to be a Bateman.
That's a Bubba.
Show that again. Show that again.
That's a Bubba.
That's nice.
That is nice.
Show the other one.
Show that other one. That other one was pretty sweet.
I got a hip and a field.
Okay.
That looks wide. That looks a lot wider than that one that I have that's custom. That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta treat them. I'm gonna shoot one of those in NFA.
Awesome, man. I know you've been looking for one, so that other one's pretty sweet too. It's a little old school that the other one, but that's cool.
I like the target style quiver where the arrows point forward. It's just, if you have the field style, you're more apt to hit the people behind you or have them hit your arrows. So I like this of the field sometimes because it's smaller, more minimal, but the way the arrows point, it's a pain. Like tonight, my brother yanked down on one of my arrows with his release hand.
I remember doing that to you once at Ruth's place, really tight quarters, and I shoot and I go grab another arrow, and all I'm doing is come from here, shoot, and then I just go down to reach it like this, and then boom, hits the arrow. Because you got to be careful how those arrows point back. Like my hip quivers, what I try to do now is I rotate it every time I go to shoot, rotate it so the arrows are pointing straight behind me. But that's really easy to, if you get the bad arrow holder for especially indoors, they point backwards, and it is. I think I punctured my finger and bled like 2 pints of blood when I shot with you.
I think you still shot like a 560 something. So
that's how I took you down that day.
That's good stuff. I don't know. I mean, I like a field quiver personally, but you do what you. Oh, Christian said they're called glory packs.
The glory packs.
Oh, that guy.
They got a thigh strap. Are you using the thigh strap, Grayson, or no?
Christian does.
Maybe if I was climbing a tree, in my lone wolf, yeah, I might. But just to wear around the range now.
Yeah, I think it looks good. Go ahead.
I think it's a good. I mean, if you're climbing a tree, it's nice. It's not flapping around, but you can hold everything you need in that for early archery season, and it's money. I mean, it's like a better fanny pack, really. I wouldn't put arrows in it. I'll put that in a bow quiver, but you can carry your bow rope, a little saw, face mask, gloves. It's perfect. Snacks.
It's an upgraded man purse, is what it is.
Yeah, I dig it.
It's all good. All right,
Frank,
guys. I think we're done.
Hold on. What are the details on this place we're staying at? Was that price per night, or is
that's per night? Yeah. That's per night for the 4 of us. Yeah.
Is that each person or total?
No, that would be total.
Okay.
Each night. So total for all of us.
Your own, bro.
It's really not that bad. I was surprised.
Yes. How many? Okay, we can talk about that after.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. No worries.
Who's bringing the glitter?
I am.
What arrows are you going to shoot, John?
Adam, which bow?
Grayson, which bow are you going to shoot?
I don't know, man. Not the one you want me to shoot, I can tell you that. But I've got another Gilo coming, and that Hoyt that John sent me to play with, and 2 other Gilos I'm kind of messing with. So I don't know. I'm gonna get a set of the new Uka limbs, see how they go. Seen like mixed reports on them. I really don't know what to expect, but I want to try them. I can't get the old ones anymore, and I want a new set. So we'll see. I haven't tested really anything in 2 years, so I've got a lot of work to do as far as testing. But I've decided I'm going to shoot tanks at nationals. Whether that's a good or bad decision, I don't know. If I shoot really, really well, it'll be a bad decision. If I shoot okay, if I shoot really good, 5 tanks in a single spot it's murder on my arrows. So
There's not a lot of room in that X ring for 523s.
no, but if I shoot bad and spread them all around the target, no big deal.
Well, there's always the RZs. They're in between.
Yeah, yeah. I shot last time, and I think had I shot the tanks, I would have scored better, slightly, because I didn't shoot very well. So I probably would have caught, all I needed was one more line, because I think I lost on X count to Rick's. So yeah, I didn't shoot great. So tanks might have given me one line out of the 120 arrows I shot. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, I'm going to shoot the tanks, and whatever happens, happens.
I'm going to shoot the flat lines for USA. An old Easton arrow. That's set up pretty good. It's shooting pretty good. And hopefully do well enough I could sneak some Easton money as well. For indoor nationals, if I shoot barebow, I'll just shoot the flat lines. If I shoot longbow, I'll shoot the 23-14s with 300 grain points.
I really wish we could shoot 2 classes there. That'd be so much fun, but the timing wouldn't work out for peer groups on the second day.
Yeah, probably. It most likely wouldn't. But I'm gonna ask when I'm there anyway. What the worst they're gonna say is no, which is probably what they're gonna say. But
maybe not. Maybe they'll say, "Hey, if you can pull it off, go ahead. We'll take your money." Knowing the NFA.
And I'll see where they pair me. If they pair me with Frank and Barebow, I'll just switch to the longbow.
That's fine too. I want you to shoot longbow.
Do what, Frank?
I said I want you to shoot longbow. Talking to John, but both of you should play around with the longbow at NFAA.
I mean, I can shoot it pretty good. It'd be fun to give it a go, but I don't have it really set up to shoot right now, and it takes a little while to switch between the forms and everything. It's kind of a pain for me. I don't like switching back and forth because I have to shoot slightly different. I think John's the same way, but he probably does better with the switching than I do.
Do you still have the timber point, or do you have Kagan's?
I have one timber point, and I have one of Keegan's bows.
Nice. You got the little one, like the native?
No, I got the Royal Huntsman.
Okay.
I think it's like 40 couple pounds, but it feels pretty good, honestly. I would shoot probably some old CXLs off of it that are almost 23s, and I'm pretty confident I could shoot 280s with it. It's a sweet little bow. I want to hunt with it this year.
How long is that?
The one I have is 66, but I'm probably going to end up ordering a longer one from him, lighter weight, to actually shoot indoor with.
Nice.
Cool.
What's your longbow, John? Timber point, right?
The timber point, yeah. 39 pounds on the fingers.
Is that the one that you shaved the window out on?
Oh, it looks like hell. I put a grinder right to it. I put because it's so personal. It's like, you got these tools like barebow, you can change stuff. You could put a different grip on it.
Yep.
But longbow you can't. So I mean, it was a good grip. It just wasn't a grip that I could shoot a barebow and then shoot the longbow. So
yeah,
I made the grip to fit me instead of me fitting the grip.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I shaved the sides. I cut the center a little bit more.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Put tape on it and throw the grip on it, and I do a very bad disservice to the bow, but
hey, if it works, it works. If it works. All right, guys. Well, I think that's about it. We got everything covered here. So I think we're gonna kill the live feed and call it a night. You guys, thanks for jumping on, and John, thanks for coming in late.
Had a birthday dinner to go to, so couldn't get out of it.
No worries.
My birthday will be in Louisville. We going out that night? What's the plan?
That's Friday. Friday
Yeah.
night.
Thursday night.
Thursday,
So
perfect.
Thursday night.
Final. We're off. We don't shoot Fridays, so John, you can get drunk.
Off of one White Claw.
Yeah, that'll do the job.
One of the White Claw. And one
Frank,
Twisted
we'll get Frank a bunch of boilios.
Tea. I'll bring some boilo for everybody. I'll bring some coffee boilo. All right, guys. You have a good night.
All right.
See you guys in a couple of weeks. Thanks everybody for joining in. Peace out. See ya.
All right. Easy.